Hey everyone, welcome back to Rollahan Garage. Sorry I've been gone for a while. The weather has finally just gotten nice here. It is officially spring. It's been rainy and cold and whatnot for a while. I wanted to do a video on my recent purchase, which is a 2002 C32 AMG Mercedes. This is, I've always been a big Mercedes fan, a huge AMG fan. I did end up selling my BMW E30. It was just too modified for what I like. I like OEM Plus or stock cars. And that car was just way too modified for me. It went to a new owner and I know he's enjoying the car. And yeah, I tend to prefer four-door performance sedans like this car. They're just more practical, comfortable. I can use them every day, that type of thing. So what I want to talk about in this video is not only show this car off a little bit, but I want to talk about this versus the C55 AMG. So a lot of people kind of say the C55, like the 05 and 06 C55 AMG, is kind of like the most reliable Mercedes AMG you can buy, which I do tend to agree with. However, I do think people are sleeping on these C32s, and I think for some people, the C32 is actually a better car. These cars are very reliable. The motor and transmission in these are very robust. This does use the Mercedes 722.6 5-speed automatic transmission, which have been known to hold like 800 foot-pounds of torque. They're very, very robust. They do shift slow, but this is kind of like a powerful cruiser. And what makes the C32, in my opinion, better than the C55 is the fact that it has a supercharged V6, which means easy to mod, easy to add power to this car. So this is of course a stock version, but if you're someone who likes to tinker, you want more power, you like the sound of the supercharger whine, you might want to look at a C32 AMG. I am going to do a buyer's guide on this car because I think there could be a YouTube video with better information out there showing people what to look for on these cars. There are some factory defects which you do need to know about, but they're pretty minor, and I think on most cars of the age you're going to find that those defects have already been taken care of. Of course, on the W203, rust is a common issue. My car is no different, but generally, I don't mind a little bit of surface imperfections, a little bit of surface rust. You get the car much cheaper and you can just enjoy the car, right? I can take this to the grocery store, not worry about dings and dents and all that kind of stuff. I can just drive this car and really have fun with it. So I did not pay show car price, and I don't expect the car to look like a show car either. So, this has 350 horsepower, very similar power output to the C55, but like I say, you can definitely do a stage 1 or stage 2 tune to this car and bring that up to like 400 wheel horsepower, which is very, very impressive. These cars can be a real powerhouse and they take to mods very, very well. So if you're into, modding cars and that type of thing, I really do think you should look at the C32 AMG. They make an awesome platform to mod and that type of thing. So I'm going to pop the hood for you here so we can talk about the engine a little bit, and then we'll go into the interior. All right, so here it is. The 3.2 liter V6 supercharged AMG motor in the C32. These are, like I say, very robust. The V6, Mercedes just didn't put a supercharger on the 3.2 liter V6. They have heavily modified this motor to make sure it can handle the power, and they have better oiling, better connecting rods, better pistons. This car is made for performance. AMG is known for, especially in the 2000 to 2006, 2007, these are some of the best AMG cars ever built. E55 is an incredible car, C55 is an incredible car, C63 can be an incredible car. They have their issues, but all of these cars are kind of like that sweet spot for value and performance. We will talk about in the buyer's guide, there are issues with the stock Vallejo radiator on some 02 and early 03 cars. That's not a massive issue on higher mileage cars and things like that, but we'll talk about in the buyer's guide, which I'm going to be building on my channel for this. So look out for that video here coming shortly. I really like the air intake on this car. Mercedes want nice cool air going right into the motor. These cars do have an intercooler underneath the supercharger. Common on the E55 as well. A lot of people, when they're modding cars, they'll separate the engine coolant from the intercooler's coolant. So they'll run separate coolant for the intercooler. You'll get lower air intake temperatures and of course have more performance. Unfortunately, Mercedes did choke this engine down quite a bit. There is a baffle back here. It's very restrictive on the back, you can see. You can build your own much more robust intake using E55 and SL55 parts. You'll get much bigger filters, much bigger tubes, and you won't have a choke point there, and you'll hear the supercharger whine a lot more. You can build those with genuine Mercedes parts for around $350 Canadian if you go on eBay, and you can find information on the Mercedes forums on how to do that. Like I say, it's mostly OEM parts. It's the best bang for buck. They do make air intakes for this car, but they're like $700 US or something like that. It's really ridiculous. But upgrading the intake on this car is good for a minimum of 15 horsepower because this is so restrictive. Again, Mercedes really wanted this car to be quiet and refined. I would love to hear more supercharger whine. So depending on how long I keep this car, I may do an intake. Just wake the car up a little bit and really hear that supercharger. It would also be really nice for me to maybe do like a stage 1 tune, something like that. I don't want to go too crazy on this, but we'll see. As all of you might eventually get to know, I usually do go through cars pretty quickly. So who knows how long I'm going to be keeping this one. But so far, it's really fun and I do enjoy it. So let's take a look here at the interior. Pretty standard W203 C-Class interior. Very nice leather, comfortable seats. My interior is in actually quite decent condition. No real rips or tears or blemishes or anything like that. Typical of the era. Lots of buttons on this car, which is nice. I feel like the instrument cluster is pretty cheap looking on these. I do prefer the E55 instrument cluster, but of course that is an E-Class. But I do like the kind of carbon fiber looking trim on these cars. And yeah, overall it's quite a nice place to be. It's comfortable and I am enjoying it. This car does have a trick up its sleeve. The previous owner installed something pretty cool on it that I will show you here. So on this car, it does have active exhaust. So in the cup holder compartment here, we have a toggle switch. So essentially this opens up a valve right before the muffler and gives this car a much throatier, deeper sound. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys what a stock C32 sounds like, and then we'll open that cutout. So as you can hear, these cars with a muffler delete have a really nice deep growl to them. I actually really like that feature. I can have it in that more aggressive sounding mode, but I can also just flip the switch and have it nice and cool and more sleeper-esque. It's really unfortunate the previous owner painted these rims black. One of my biggest pet peeves of modding cars is just painting rims black for no reason. This car, if you're gonna paint rims black, black the shadow line out, black badges out, black the grille out, like make it go with the theme. Just having black wheels on a car with chrome accents and things like that, in my opinion, just doesn't match. It's not very well thought out, and unfortunately I would have preferred these to been, you know, taken back to the OEM silver original C32 wheels, which I might do. I might get these restored. But overall, yeah, I really think that people should consider the C32 over a C55. Like I say, if they like modding. The C32 is generally also cheaper too. Where I live, these are generally, you know, $5,000 less, $3,000 less. As with any Mercedes or any car, try to find one with maintenance history. Try to find one with an owner who knows about the car, knows what's been done to the car, and always get a pre-purchase inspection. These cars can add up in maintenance cost if they have not been maintained. You might think you're getting a good deal, but have to find out in the end you have to spend a whole bunch of money on maintenance. So just note that this is kind of like my quick overview of my C32. Like I say, definitely consider this if you're looking at one of these smaller compact sedans. I think these are a crazy bargain right now. And thanks everyone for watching. Again, stay tuned for my buyer's guide on a C32.